All right, we are back at our Bloodbath Tactics studio. This is a new studio, new look. We're not doing it in the bar anymore. We're actually here at a really high-class studio at Calgary Podcast Studio. If you ever want to start your own podcast, please look them up. They do rentals, and they all start off for you. But we're here. We expanded the team. We got Ben.
Yeah, it's your boy Ben back again on Bloodbath Tactics, and we got two, I guess, new faces, but people have seen them before.
Yeah.
Honestly, the two of the nicest guys we know, two of the best players in Calgary. We've got Mr. Dave.
I'm David.
How you doing, Dave?
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
We all know David.
You're very welcome. Yeah. We all know David. David was here for, he was actually our first World Leaders faction focus. And that's true. We double dipped, and Dave was our first. And you were on for Grey Knights as well? Or did we do a second one? Yeah, we did,
Grey
right?
Knights, yeah.
Yeah, they both did really super well. Everybody liked it a lot. And then we've got Mr. Fraser Perry.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, sir?
I did the actual World Leaders faction video. It's nice to have a full squad going at this podcast shebang.
100%. So Fraser and Dave are going to come on as more permanent hosts. Mm-hmm. You guys love us. Me and Cass, we're the best, obviously. The OGs.
The core.
But we want to expand. We got cool new digs, cool new studio.
Well, you know, like in like Magic or like even in Warhammer, you need expansion sets. So we just expand out to David Fraser.
And when GW comes out with new stuff, it's always better.
It's very popular at the time, and then it gets run down.
I don't know about that.
Too much use.
Yeah, but Space Marines are OGs, and they're still here, right? They still crush everybody, right?
Yeah.
So not new format, new permanent hosts. So you guys will see some combination of us four plus a guest from time to time in pretty much every episode going forward. Mm-hmm. Similar content for sure. We're going to be leaning into the podcasts a little bit more. In the month of December, we did a ton of bat reps. It was with the
Grotmis.
The Grotmis detachments, exactly. Yeah. So it made sense to just kind of crush out a bunch of battle reports. And then we kind of took January off, family time, holiday time, that kind of stuff. Just kind of made it more difficult to meet up. But now that we've got the new studio and more dudes on hand, it's going to be way better.
And more consistent, too.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Got some fresh brain in here.
Some fresh brain.
That
sounds kind of gross, but yes.
Well, I'm excited about it.
You're excited with the brain?
We're going to be trying to record them weekly, and then we're going to try to focus on getting one battle report out a month, and then we're just going to really focus on the podcasting. Just get it back to the core and teaching everyone and all the viewers our crazy thoughts.
Yeah, I think... And don't hold us to this, dear viewers, but I think the idea is we're trying to do 3 podcasts a month.
Yeah, I think that's the aim.
I think we're looking for 3 a month.
I would like that. That's a good goal.
You guys good for 3 a month?
That's the magic number.
That's the magic number.
For the most part, yeah. It's
there's 4 of us, 3 podcasts.
Yeah, 3 podcasts. There you go. Well, that's the dream. That's the being consistent. We want to try do like a couple faction focuses and maybe like a monthly meta wrap up of some kind. Mm-hmm. That's the long term goal if we can keep this thing kind of rolling. And then we'll kind of intersperse because people did like the battle reports. It was fun.
They were awesome.
Having live chat and stuff, being able to like get real time feedback was really cool.
And on that feedback, like if you guys want to see a certain matchup, just let us know. Let us know how we're doing here on the podcast. Let us know what kind of matchups you want to see between the 4 of us.
Every army.
Ooh.
Except for Tau.
We know.
Nobody wants to see a Tau game.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we did have Matt Sector on for the Tau episode, and it did pretty well as well.
Yeah, it did.
It's got to be said. Yeah. It did fantastic, and Matt is a gem. You guys know Matt's a gem.
Matt's on Necrons now, though.
I know, that's true.
He's
on that Necron.
He's pretty sold on Necrons. He told me he wasn't going to allow himself to get the Tau models he needs, so he has to play Necrons for like this competitive season.
Necrons are good.
Yep.
No complaints. Before we get into the topic of the episode, which is the Aeldar, we might be able to see our beautiful Aeldari Codex. Thank you to Games Workshop for letting us purchase the Codex.
Thank you for letting us spend money on your product.
Just like everybody else. We didn't get any special treatment because we're not that special.
We're not sponsored by GW.
No,
nothing
not
like
yet.
Let's put it in your brain, GW.
Yeah, James, look us up sometime. But so we will get to the faction focus. We wanted to quickly plug our own cool new thing that we're doing in addition to more podcasting. We just launched our new 40K league. So for those of you who are local to Calgary and area, I suppose, we just launched the Calgary, what is it officially called? 40K Calgary Championships. That's the name right there.
Spring season league.
Right. So the idea is to have 2 seasons. So it'll be 6 rounds over each round being 2 weeks. and we want to have a spring season and then like a fall winter season type thing, and both will have prizes for first, second, third, best painted, all that good stuff. And then at the end of those 2 seasons, we'll go into a single elimination bracket of the top 16 to get like a true champion.
It's kind of like
Calgary.
the idea was like a NHL hockey playoff. That's kind of what that's where it started. The prizing's gonna be pretty huge. I think right now the champion gets a couple $100 at least.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There's
Sweet.
like 50 people, and it's been up less than a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thursday we launched on BCP.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So 4 days.
Yep.
Crazy.
So
do you get ITC points for it too?
we're working on that. The short answer is we don't know. I think yes.
Okay.
Historically, when submitting league, you have been able to get ITC points.
Yeah.
Do you have to like check it off or something, or is it just if
just,
you meet a certain
just get
criteria?
the token from BCP, submit it, and they will just create the points.
Hell yeah. Short answer: if we're able to do it, 100% it'll be on ITC because it is a competitive league.
That would be quite a lot with a lot of rounds and with a lot of players. That would be
Get a couple $100 points for first place.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%.
dude.
Like
Well, it's
200
6 rounds.
plus.
6 rounds.
Yeah. So they will be 2 separate events, but that's okay.
For
12 round.
classic, I think
Yeah,
I
it's not
got
gonna be a 12.
2 15. So if it's 64 players, you get like 215ish. Any more than that, then it'll be higher. But
Could
I
be
think
really worth
I think GW actually scaled it up for like larger DT events.
Between 64 and like 125, there's not as much, and then beyond, is it 125
No,
or 250?
it's
How much did you get for Wet Coast last year?
I got 207, and I came, I want to say 7th place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Because that was
that's
at
big.
280 players.
Yeah, approximately.
It was the biggest one in Canada or ever in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt lost in the shadow round, right? Or the last round.
You know, he lost
crazy.
at the top table,
Yeah,
6th
the
round.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah, by a couple points. If he had just played a little faster, he would have won it.
That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the long and short of it is, if we are able to get ITC points, we obviously will. But it will be, to clarify, it'll be 2 different distinct seasons, different events, and then I don't think the actual like playoff bracket will count for ITC, but it'll be 2 big events that we're going
Be
to
16 players, right?
And
at
the
that
big
point?
playoff event is after each individual season, or all
Correct.
the way at the end.
It's at the end of both of them. Like
Okay,
2
okay.
seasons lead up to a playoff.
Yeah, so
basically.
it's a cumulative between the 2 seasons.
Yep.
So if you're 12-0, you're probably going to be in the first place. And then what we're going to do is in the top 16, it's going to be just like the NHL playoffs. First place goes against 16th
Oh yeah, we're
place.
going like
Oh.
for a proper
I
seeding.
wanted to play
The
you.
underdog.
Yeah, the underdog. We're gonna have some Cinderella
You're
stories.
going to make it.
Oh, you
So do sign up if you guys are interested. Another neat thing about it as well is painting is not required, and
Yeah.
you do get the painting scores. So you are able to play some of those, pile of opportunities.
my
You've been staring at.
Harlequins barely qualify for
is
painting
true,
score
yeah.
anyway, so it's kind of a
I think
it's a nice feeling.
I think you didn't even pass the first.
Oh,
line. When
God-
I was
God, no,
judging your
dude.
over the weekend, I think you made like 5 points. So
No.
what is
Ooh,
that?
nice.
15.
yeah. My
And it wasn't because I was mad.
well, because when they first came out, they were really good at 9th, so I wanted to bring them to like a tournament immediately.
Yeah.
So my buddy Morgan from Regina just like airbrushed them super quickly, and he's like, he did it for me, but he's like loathed me ever since. He's like, I hate you for doing this. Like in every tournament I went to, people were just like the first time I brought them out, it was like rattle can, base, mask. And
Way
then
to go.
everybody was like, "Stop coming to our tournaments." so it's better than it was, but it's still not great.
Yeah, I think so obviously we've been talking to ITC points. We've been talking about like the championship. There's obviously going to be a competitive aspect to it, and it's intended to be a competitive league. But yeah, with no painting requirement, the entry to like the barrier to entry is a lot lower than any other tournament. Really, I don't know of any
100%.
tournaments that have, certainly not GTs, that have no painting requirements. So if you have an army that you're working on, or it's not painted, or it's not fully based or whatever, we don't care. Get it on the table as long as like proxies are cool and everything's cool. As long as your opponent knows what weapons are and stuff like that. Bring that army that's sitting
Knows
on the
their
shelf.
rules.
Yeah, that's 100%.
And
It's
from-
accessible, right?
From my understanding, there's no list skewing either, right? Like you can
Ooh,
only
that's
change
the
your
fun part,
list
too.
That
after
is
you
big.
lose.
We did a lot of work thinking about a good system, and we kind of borrowed from some guys out in Ontario that do a similar system. We've already kind of gone over time on this plug already, but so won't get into it. But we have a system, a format in place where you only get to change your list if you've lost a game. So if someone's crushing it with a list, then they're stuck with that list. Go keep smashing faces. But if you lose a game, okay, I can tweak my list. I can
Right.
kind of figure things
But
out.
there
And
is an asterisk on that because let's say you get a Codex in
Of
that
course.
time, or if there's a point change,
Of course.
you can absolutely change your list.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's out of your control. That's out of
100%.
everyone's control.
Yeah.
So if you're riding EC or I guess riding Thousand Suns and it comes out in May, well, you can change it.
Yeah, you want to play your fun new rules and
Yeah,
stuff. Of course,
yeah,
we're going to let you play
totally.
your fun new rules. This is a competitive, accessible tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And that happens immediately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, super cool.
Other than that, it's just kind of a basic league, and we all get to see each other. And again, we have 50 players already. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, which is awesome. Which is double what the last league was. Which I'm super stoked on. I'm
It's
very
more than
excited.
double, I
Yeah,
think.
it's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah,
close.
I think it was 21 players last league.
The Calgary
gonna
Warhammer
crush it.
community has been like our events are getting bigger. Thomas is expanding all of them.
Yep.
Like it's picking new faces every time I go to the den.
Fool's Errand just bumped up.
64,
That's good.
no
Lots of
golden
good-
ticket, but 64.
But 64.
Yeah,
The hunt for the golden ticket continues.
I want it. Yeah, I've booked time
For those
off
who don't
Atlanta.
know, Fraser did go to the World Championships last I guess the end of last year.
Would you
Like,
ask your mom for time off?
Yeah, I had to ask my mom for time off. You see the look she gives me too when I ask for it. It's weird. It's like, can I go to a Warhammer tournament? She's like, oh, you're supposed to be working. And then she's like, I'm going on a cruise for 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's worse.
Yeah, but
I'm allowed to go play with my toys.
But if you say you're going to the World Championships in Atlanta, that's a little bit different than like, hey, can I drive to Red Deer and play in a tournament?
It's a
little bit different.
Like Atlanta
Sounds
completely changed my perspective on competitive 40K. And if you ever get the chance to go, like normally I take long breaks after seasons. Like I wouldn't be playing Warhammer right now if I didn't go to Worlds. I probably wouldn't be playing until like the big singles event started up again. But like it's ignited my like passion for the game, and like I really want to get back there.
Sick. That makes sense, man. It's like that's like the
awesome.
It's sick.
that's the big leagues, man.
Yep, it's the big dance.
Sick. Well, that's enough local plugs. Let's get into the Aeldari,
Hot topic.
shall we?
Well, and I guess you've always played Aeldari for a while, or I guess in 9th edition.
In
you
9th
were
edition,
kind
I
of
was
playing
Harlequins for a big, like probably 90% of after they had their codex.
it. What
Yep.
drew you to that army?
I looked at Harlequins in 8th. So the first Ogre's Den tournament I ever went to, I was playing Death Guard. And it was like a generic Death Guard list. And I played Osland in the first round.
Good old Aussie.
And he had his Harlequins. And this was 8th edition. And basically my Plague Burst Crawlers, like it was like long edge deployment. So we were pretty close to each other. But my Plague Burst Crawlers were like stacked against the back of the map. And he double moved and immediately killed all 3 of my Plague Burst with his bikes. And I was like, holy crap. And when I hit him back, like his army just like folded. But like he was so far ahead in points and he had like the mobility to do like kind of whatever like his brain knew he needed to like score points and win the game. And I just loved like that flexibility. And I didn't want to get stuck in like a slow army again. So like I love Death Guard because one of my best friends ran Ultramarines at the time. And I love like the attrition game of like me and him going back and forth and like Plague Burst mortars and like putting myself like almost in the game visually. Like it felt cool to play. And then as soon as I played like a fast army, I was like, wow, like I want to play this. I remember looking at university, like at university, I was walking around campus looking at the 8th edition like rules on like Wahapedia for like Harlequins. And I was like, everything is a 4-up invul. Everything is good movement. They're not like, they're in a pretty good spot, but they're very like niche and not a lot of people own them. And I like playing armies that aren't super mainstream,
Right.
that people aren't going to see a lot. So if somebody's teching for it, it's because they're teching for like me specifically or a couple other people rather than already having a list equipped to deal with like whatever I bring.
Say
Yeah.
it, David. Just say it, David.
What?
No one's teching for you.
Yeah.
And also a comment on the mainstream army.
Yeah.
What's your main army?
Right now, I'm in between, but world leaders technically.
Yeah, but
How many World
you
Leaders
can't be-
player are in Calgary?
A lot
There's
now.
just
I've-
too many.
Conveniently,
There's
a lot now after I won the classic with them. It's a little
I
odd.
wonder.
There's
get-
2 right here.
I get a lot of
3
questions.
actually technically.
No,
I get a lot of
I got
questions
out of the
about
game.
world
I got out
leaders
of
every
World
month
Leaders.
from Calgary players. It's kind of
But okay,
suspicious.
anyone who's thinking about going into Aeldari now in 10th edition,
Yeah.
are they? I mean, they're still kind of that paper thin, very fast. Is a similar kind of play style the one that you like?
I think it's extremely well done because the general battle focus rule gives you a ton of mobility
Right.
Totally.
flat.
Yep.
And then you kind of get to take them in whatever direction you want.
Right.
And I'm not super educated on like the mainstream Eldar detachments because I like the niche of like Harlequins and Ynnari. Like I like the dark gods, like that, like that kind of stuff. I find just like the lore like super. I'm getting Ynnari for the lore. No, I'm not. They're so good, but
sure.
it's there's enough flexibility between the detachments that they all play very differently.
Sure.
And there's a lot of options in the Eldar Codex that if fast is a way that you want to play the game, you can basically like whatever style army you want. It's like the closest equivalent to Marines we've had in the game.
Well, what I don't. Sorry to interrupt. What I don't understand is how the hell did they get 8 detachments? That's wild.
And they're all very different.
There's
Is that
8
the
in
most?
there.
Or
No,
is Chaos Space Marine
CSM got 8 as well. I think 8 is like
Yeah.
their upper limit, but like it seems so random that they get 8 because you're 100% right. People know Aeldari for being movement tricks and shenanigans and stuff, right? We lost, just for those who may not know off rip, they lost the fate dice mechanic entirely. There's no more fate dice. They kind of nerfed it a bunch since the beginning of 10th. Yeah, I think it was generally just kind of an awkward thing to work with.
One of the
It was a
detachments-
nightmare. It was a
Right.
nightmare.
One of the
Terrible.
detachments
I
does
agree.
still have
Kind
fate
of fate
dice,
kind
but
of.
it corresponds. Each number on the dice corresponds with a specific ability,
yeah,
and then you
that's
can
the strat,
manipulate the number on those dice.
Yeah.
But the auto 6 now is
like
included in on the aspect warriors themselves.
Yeah.
But they only get it once per game per 5 of them.
Right.
Yeah, and
so-
it's only hitter wound rolls too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
In your shooting phase, not even in Overwatch.
They've lost the fate dice altogether, and they've bring it. What's it called? Swift actions now. Swift something. What's the
I think
actual-
the general. I think
What's the
I think
armor
battle
called?
focus.
Battle focus.
Like
Thank
that,
you.
yeah.
Swift, whatever is like the movement one or whatever it is. But anyway, so you get 4 points for
Each battle round.
each battle round. Thank you, and then you can spend them on different movement abilities. They're all movement based abilities, right? So, one is like you can move to extra 2 inches. One is vehicles can move D6+1. There's a whole bunch of movement
No
abilities.
Overwatch is a big one.
One is no Overwatch, which is huge. Yeah,
The extra movement one you can use more than once.
Yeah, the
other
general
ones you can only use once.
The general rule is exactly that. You can only use one of these swift actions once per phase.
Per unit.
Once
One
per
unit
unit?
can only benefit from one swift action, and each swift action can only be used once per phase
you
unless
go.
it's the +2 to movement.
Or if you have some other weird exception that I'm sure exists maybe in the book somewhere. but-
I'm not educated enough to know.
Right. It's also still very new. We've only had the Codex for 2 weeks now. A little
2
over 2
weeks,
weeks,
yep.
right? So like we're all still getting used to it. The meta is still shifting around it. There's undoubtedly going to be a meta shift to not only a lot of people are going to move to Eldar, period, but then of course the meta shifts to oppose Eldar, right?
Well, we were looking at the stats before we started filming here. What are some of the stats for Aeldari?
4 event wins last weekend.
Right.
Lots of.
Is that all Ynnari?
No, there was 2 from Ynnari, 1 from Aspect Host, and 1 from War Host, which is like the hop back into transports.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But there was a lot of like 0 loss, 1 loss, like in the Eldar. So they're not winning every event right now, but they're finishing
good,
very
yeah.
well.
The
They're
sample
placing
size is too small to come to any conclusion, but it's looking optimistic for them.
Yeah,
Even getting an event win right away
Yeah.
too is pretty big.
Yeah, getting a few.
Now that also can be
People
You
don't
go-
know how to play against them at all. Yeah.
exactly, and you
absolutely.
go up to them and you just hear Fraser rambling for 15 minutes on what they do, and then you're just singing
Well,
like.
I cheat religiously, so that doesn't count.
Right. But then you're as the opponent, you're sitting there listening to that like I don't even. Okay, yeah, you can do that. Sure, you can just do whatever you
Yeah,
want,
right.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's
You
it's
kind
one
of have
of
to
those
trust.
things.
Well, and I wouldn't even attribute malice to that. As a person who has had to learn a new codex, like you get things wrong, you
Totally.
do things weird, like
Yeah.
oh shoot, this actually can't go this far, and like, do you mind if I? That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like you said, the fact that they're already pulling out wins, like off the bat, means we have a strong codex on our hands. But when you have 8 detachments, chances are going to have at least, hopefully, 2 or 3 good ones.
Especially when it's a complex army
Yeah.
pulling off wins
Yeah.
right off the
Pretty
bat.
deep.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say too.
It's really deep. Like all data sheets are good in comparison to the 8 detachments.
Yeah,
Right?
there's a
You
lot
can
of
find
play
something.
styles. You can, play the high mobility Harlequins. You can actually play a primary attrition through the
Ynnari.
Wraith
Oh
constructs.
yeah. The is that the
Pretty
seer one?
resilient.
Yeah, one of the biggest highlights of Eldar is actually going to be for team lists. Because there's so much flexibility, you really want to be building SKU lists once you get to 6 or 8-man team events. And you can build good singles lists in Eldar, like as we know.
Right.
But you can really, really skew and really, really punish certain popular team builds with specific Eldar builds as well. Like, for example, like we saw that Ghost list
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like an unusual amount of like regular Eldar in like the Harlequins detachment.
Right.
Just like super killy troops with the fight on death. Getting out of a transport, full rerolls to wound, like a ton of like you can skew really hard into certain builds. Where in singles, you'd lose every other game
Yeah,
just
of
because
course.
it's not a great matchup.
Yeah.
But if you have a good captain that can direct like the army, like specifically, Eldar can be really, really good in teams.
Well, they've always, well, from what I know, they've always been one of those armies that has, lots of very deep codex with lots of movement shenanigans. So lots of like expression of player skill, right? They're not an army that you just slap down and go.
Yeah.
They are an army that you kind of have to. All of your pieces, all your units are very fragile, extremely fragile. Like when we played yesterday, his Harlequins are dying to bolter fire. They're dying to stubber fire, right?
My Revenant Titan was
Your
fragile.
we won't even get to that. You don't have a lot of room to mess up or to make errors, so you have to be good with the army, which makes sense that a lot of the best players are going towards this play style, obviously, right?
Sure. And that one game you had, I think it was round 2 against Astor Mill.
Round 3.
That was round 3. Okay, yeah. So that was interesting. You have the anti-take with the Haywire, but the minute you show them, they're going to be gone. You're going to get one tank and they're going to be gone. So Fraser was playing it very, very tight and just hiding them and making him just kind of slowly get there and sending one unit, tagging things, letting him deal with it, sending one unit, tagging it, sitting on primary, not really ever shooting the Haywires unless like he showed 2 tanks, and then he would take it out with the Haywire.
Because I was holding everything in combat individually with troops to stop the movement.
Right, yeah.
And then he couldn't shoot anything above 80 points for like 2 rounds.
But man, does it feel bad if you don't roll 4s on those Haywires?
It does.
Goddamn.
You
just do nothing.
Swing. Like in the first game, there was a dreadnought on like 2 wounds, and I rolled it, and it was like 18 mortal wounds.
Right.
And it's like holy crap.
Right.
But the nice thing for Eldar players is, since we've moved away from faction-specific secondaries, all the secondaries are very reflective of high movement armies.
Absolutely.
And they're going to score traditionally a lot better than other armies would if you play them. So I think we'll see a lot of like the higher skill cap players, excluding like faction specialists, if they can afford it, transitioning to Eldar simply because it's easier to score with the movement.
But when you have armies like that, you tend to lose actually points on the primary.
Yeah, you win 40k through 2 ways: killing your opponent and surviving on primaries. Yeah. And Eldar are not good at surviving
within
or
scoring,
however,
or living on primary.
There is quite a heavy asterisk
with one
to not being good at scoring primary that begins with a Y and is its own detachment.
Let's get into that. Let's get into the best detachments. So there's 8 of them. Not going to go through all of them. Most people should be familiar with some of the good ones, at least so far.
On YouTube too, everyone going through every single detachment. Like
exactly.
We can focus on the ones that we know and the ones that we're interested in.
100%. Well, and let's do that real quick. The one we're interested in, I have a fledgling Harlequin army. Fraser has a more or less painted Harlequin army.
Debatably painted.
It is on the board. It is technically tournament legal.
Battle ready.
So we love our clowns. Yeah. They are definitely not the top 3 detachment. I think at the most recent Art of War video, they had them in 5th. I think they were 3rd worst. I think that's probably about right.
3rd worst would be 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah,
we're not here for math, all right, guys. Screw you guys.
I had quite a few TTS games with them, and there was definitely kind of like after a few games they start feeling pretty good.
Sure.
And they feel consistent. And at the mid tables, if you know how to play them properly, you're just going to run the mid tables because nobody knows how to deal with them, and there's lots of safety in the army. Scoring primary will always be tough with them, as we've discussed, but you can get out right in front of a vehicle, shoot it with all the fusions, grenade it, and see how much damage you do. And if you know you're going to kill it, you can charge into it and then consolidate back onto the objective, then get back in your transport. Yeah. And if you don't think you're going to kill it, you don't charge it, and you just like hop back in your transport, and then the vehicle can't get you unless in melee, and then you still have the valuable troop squad inside.
They're great at denying primary.
Oh, yes, 100%. That's why they will actually win games. Is like
OC2 troops now too.
That's so good.
They get
that's
so
so
good.
Yeah, you're going to try to draw primary but score secondaries.
Well, even if you don't have sticky on your home objective, turn 3 and 4, you're not going to have a lot to protect your back line.
Yeah.
Pull something up in the strategic reserves, dunk a squad of bikes or whatever, like back there, dunk a Void Weaver behind you, kill you off your like home.
Yep.
So it's just there's so much like movement.
Like David said, lots of denial, lots of like, and the other thing too that can't be ignored is they have a strat to bring characters back up after being shot. So if you have like a Death Jester or something back on your like expansion objective, and they manage to kill it in shooting, they'll have to charge it as well to actually kill you off primary, right? So there's a lot of good play there, lots of good strats. The strats are what really make the detachment kind of pop. The detachment rule in and of itself is not great, but the troops themselves having dev wounds built right into it, and the troop master having that dev built in always in combat, that's huge. You can punch up quite a bit when you're rolling buckets of dice and just going crazy, right? So definitely not top 3 material, but number 1 in our hearts.
They're fun, man. Honestly, you could probably do pretty good with the tournament. Like
I agree entirely.
you would need a specific win path to do well.
Sure.
But you could do pretty good. With
Yeah,
them.
if you run into Imperial Knights, you might be in trouble. But what do we think?
I think Chaos Knights is worse with all.
Yeah,
the
any just T10 everywhere is going to hurt no matter what. What do we think then is? Let's go because we I think we clearly know what our number one is. Let's not. We'll get there in a sec.
Okay.
What do we think is the third best detachment?
Warhost?
Aspect?
Probably Aspect.
I think Aspect.
So I think that these are our top three. So in it doesn't need to be in a particular hard order. But what does Aspect do again, Dave? What's that? Do you remember?
So they get rerolls, and I believe they get to choose between the reroll ones to hit and wound. But really, the core of the list, from what my experience, I've played a couple practice games against them, are Dark Reapers coming out of transports, shooting, then getting back in, and same with Asserman, just because he gets that inherently, and just lots of Aspect Warriors, which just hit really hard.
So it's kind of some of the movement shenanigans that Harlequin gets up to, but with better units, arguably better units, right?
It's a CP, but it is better units. It's not like obviously baked into the transport like
You
it
have
is
the
for
Autarch
Starweavers.
in the unit, so you're getting to use that strat for free.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's only
cool.
on one unit, obviously.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's
So-
going to be
so
a
you
still
have the
fine.
it's
Dark
going to be a thing you do
Reapers.
every turn.
Yeah.
You have the Dark Creepers doing that, and you have Asserman's unit doing that. So just like two annoying units that do quite a bit of output that you can't really interact with.
And if you have something like Fire Dragons, there's a 1 CP to give them sustained, lethal,
Oh,
and ignore
Jesus.
cover. And if it's into vehicles, they're rerolling all hits, wounds, and damage. And that's when it's like free.
Like they needed
So-
more damage. Like they needed to hit harder.
So
Holy
hitting,
crap.
listen to podcasts all day. There's a stat out there that a squad of 10 fire dragons can come out and kill 2 Dorns
Jesus, is that
in
true?
one activation. Is this possible?
Confirm or deny?
You're winning on 5, so
Right, maybe
you're
not.
kind of relying on some statistical variance to
Yeah.
get you those
I think there's
5s.
grenades.
If it's 2 squads of 5, I would say yes, because you can bring the leader of like the Aspect Warriors.
Fuegan?
He has no.
Oh,
the,
other
like the actual.
Just saying guys now, eh?
No, Fuegan's a guy. Fuegan. The guy. He's on he's like, that's the guy on the cover. That's him. I know Eldar lore. I know Eldar things.
What are they called? Like actually, like in the squad,
Phoenix?
the 2 wound, one of the squads.
Oh, they're
The
sergeants.
Yeah, the Exarch.
The Exarch.
The Exarch has a flamer. Well, not a flamer. A Melta. That's Melta 6.
Right.
And that one, because you get the 1 token, you can flip that one to the
To
wound
the
roll
auto
of
ones,
6.
yeah.
And then unless the Dorn is an invul, that's on a. That's
And you can
taking
have
on 6s.
an
It's-
Exarch
it's
in obviously both
it
squads,
ignores
right?
cover, and you can have an Exarch.
It ignores cover.
in both squads. It ignores cover if you use the 1 CP stratagem for the sustain and lethal.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you're probably popping smoke if you're the
Wait,
Roll Gold
it's
Darn
sustained lethal and ignores cover? What is
Yep.
this strat that just does everything?
One
What is,
CP.
what is this stupid
1 CP.
strat?
1
Once-
CP.
Sustained,
That's crazy.
lethal, 1 CP,
Yep.
and ignore cover.
And ignore cover.
Yep.
That's like
gross.
3
That's
strats
gross.
in one strat. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
That's gross.
That is gross. I think Fire Dragons are going to be something that everybody is going to have to think about, work around.
Oh, I got it wrong.
Yeah, what's
you,
up?
you can either get ignores cover, lethal, sustained. You get one of them for 1 CP, or you can get one of them and then discard one of the little shrine tokens to get 2 of them.
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
you don't get
that
to
makes more
auto
sense.
sick for both of them.
But
if
you just
do
take
that.
lethal then and just use the auto
You just take
sticks.
whatever you need, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
And then
you
you
might
just
not
get
need ignore
that.
cover or
Well,
whatever.
yeah, you get it through.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's very
Because
strong.
what's the AP?
AP4, and then
Yeah.
even the
Well,
small
they're still
small
saving on
melters
6
are
for the
D6
Dorn.
plus 3, and you're rerolling all the damage on them too.
What's the range?
It's short.
12?
It's
12
short.
inches,
Yeah.
18 inches with Fuegan, but they have assault.
Right. And they're flying up in a
So
wave.
you But
you're in a
serpent or-
transport
yeah,
too,
they're flying
right?
in a
Can you
wave serpent.
put the? I suppose you could put the ignore Overwatch battle token on them when they start in a transport.
Yeah. Well, because
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
you
first get
can-
out of a transport, you can't actually be overwatched. Like disembarking
Yep,
is not
yep, correct.
overwatchable, and then you start.
And then
normal
you move, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Okay. And that was the Aspect Host is the name of the detachment?
Yeah.
So that's maybe our third or second. And then, sorry, what was the other one you named? The War Host.
Warhost.
And what does War Host do?
Warhost basically it gives you extra movement, like an inch extra movement when you do all like your fancy
Swift
jazz
stuff.
abilities.
Yeah.
And then it also it gives you an extra one of those abilities every single turn, and it gives you like it gives you like fire and fade, which is like a
As a strat,
fan
yeah.
favorite for Eldar.
Oh, so good,
and it
yeah.
also gives you the same as Aspect Host, like the 1 CP, scoop something back into a transport.
Oh, damn.
But the problem is,
It's just got all the stuff, yeah. all the
So if you're trying to outkill
so
them,
good.
you're going to get absolutely dunked on. But unless there's an objective behind terrain, the transport that's behind the terrain is also not on the objective, so it's not difficult to outscore them on primary.
Right,
If
right.
you don't lean into the I need to kill this fragile Eldar army, like if you don't have means to do it, like lots of times the Aspect games that I've watched or the Warhost games that I've watched, they've like done a lot of damage and almost tabled their opponent.
Right.
But you look at the end, it's really, really close.
Yeah,
on
they got no
points,
points,
unless
yeah.
they're completely running away with it.
Right.
So armies that are good at like scoring points, like maybe like World Leaders, like sticking objectives, or other people like reactive moves, or they can sit like a little further away.
Like a Drakari army or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
actually,
kind of
that's a
playing
good
this
one, yeah.
weird trading attrition game where like you're not really getting the things that you want.
Yeah, but they have sticky and they have their stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And
yeah.
they'll trap you in with their beasts.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Even
yeah,
I guess your
beast-
transports
actually,
fly
yeah,
though, so
Jesus.
you can kind of get over the beast. But
Yeah, but just having whatever get the beast pack to just charge and be annoying on turn 1, like they're good at
it's
doing, right?
super annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just like charge their beast pack, put you in jail.
Yeah.
And they just stick you out their primaries and just wait for you to come out.
Beast jail,
Yeah, beast jail.
beast jail, wolf jail,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Okay, cool, sweet. And then so similar theme. We've talked about a few different Eldar detachments at this point, and again, a similar through thread would be hard to hold primary. And then number 1 detachment comes along and says, "Oh, you have a hard time with primary? How about we be the best primary army in maybe the whole game?"
And probably the whole game.
So, and we are, of course, for those who don't know, talking about, what is it actually called? We call it the Ynnari. It's like the servants of Ynnari or whatever,
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
right? So the Ynnari detachment, and Fraser, you're the pro on this one. What are the 3 detachment rules?
Okay, so I
novel.
only know
Dude,
this because
that's- it's insane.
Yeah, I only know this because I rehearsed it probably like 15 times
In the mirror, getting ready?
No, to different victims at
Oh,
the tournament this weekend.
Gotcha.
I was bringing
Gotcha.
Harlequins, and I was like, if you think this is bad, you should see the Ynnari that I'm building.
Yeah.
I was like, listen to all these rules. And they're like trying to walk away.
Some
I'm like,
stranger,
no,
yeah.
no, you stand there. Yeah.
No, it'd be like a thing like, so what do you think of Harlequins? Oh, that's cool. Let me tell you about
Let me tell
something
you-
else.
yeah,
they
yeah,
put a
yeah.
trap to get you in.
If you think
I have
that
candy in my
20-0 was
car.
bad,
Yeah, wait till I beat you
So
harder.
basically, one of their 3 army rules
Yeah.
is probably the best army rule in the game.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this is the pop off.
So the best one is called lethal intent.
Yep.
So if you kill something in the shooting phase, and
If your opponent kills something, like kills
like
you.
if your opponent kills one of your units in the shooting phase,
Yep.
and it doesn't have to just die to shooting, it could be a grenade, it could be they blew up your tank, and then the mortals from the
It's in the
tank
phase.
blew up the.
Mm-hmm.
Anything dies in the phase. At the end of the phase, after they're done shooting, you get to pick another one of your units, and they can make a normal move.
Right.
Now, because it's a normal move, that means that you can use your tokens from your army abilities.
Yeah.
You can get +2 to move, or the vehicles can get +D6 +1 to move. So when you bring like warp spiders or something, you kill something on the middle objective. My warp spiders can then move like 14 inches,
Right.
and go wherever they want.
Right.
Or like the example I like to use, the wave serpent. The wave serpent can then move 15 plus D6
+1.
inches, well 15 plus D6 inches, with a
Right,
ton of like fights first banshees or fire dragons or like whatever the matchup calls for.
Right.
To like literally, we did the math, and it was like 80% of the time they're making a charge against the back of the board. If they're
Anywhere they
if
want.
they're starting on the side that's 20 inches from the tipping point deployment within the 20 inches. So unless you're putting models to screen out that wave serpent landing, which I would just kill on my turn anyway if you decide to do that,
Right.
then you could have stuff charging a backline in turn 1. They have a stratagem to sticky an objective. So you could I could be scoring 0 primary at the start of my turn, except for like a squad of rangers that I have in the middle objective. You can kill the rangers. I will sticky that, and then I'll move a squad of warp spiders or whatever I want.
They have a sticky on death as well.
1 CP.
Jesus,
I can move
Murphy.
my squad of warp spiders, whatever I want, onto the other objective to score primary at the start of my turn. Or if you only put 4 OC on this objective,
Yeah.
then I'll move the warp spiders onto there. And then if you go to charge the warp spiders, unless they're tanky, then you're getting Overwatch with full flamers.
Sure.
And it's crazy good army
There's
building.
there's almost endless things you can do with this because it is so like the ability itself doesn't put limits. It just says if something died in shooting. Again, grenades, an explosion. It doesn't matter how it died.
Yeah.
You just move. It's a normal move.
And rules is written, you could kill something in your deployment zone, have the incarn pop up. At the end of your shooting phase, the Incarn
Right,
moves 12 inches with the
Jesus.
+2. And then in the start of my turns, the Incarn's moving 24 inches and then charging you because you decided that you wanted to kill my squad of Rangers in the middle.
I see it being used for almost as much as scoring primary is just protecting your units. When you start your shooting phase and you see your opponent lining up, okay, I'm going to kill this, this, and this. They kill that first. Okay, now you just get to pick what to keep safe.
Sure, 100%.
But it happens at the end of the shooting phase.
Oh, and
So
what am I
Yeah,
talking about?
it's not
So
fire.
it's like
phase.
it's not reactive right there.
So my units can move out and be completely safe from shooting.
Gotcha.
Or
Yeah,
if,
you
or
don't
if-
need to expose them.
Or if you're shooting a melee army and I see that you want to charge something, what I'll do is
You can never get a charge.
The
You'll never have a charge again in your entire life.
No. You can charge me, but I'll move the squad of Banshees 10 inches to stand beside you to heroically intervene into you, which have fights first, and are hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s with anti-infantry, damage 3, and damage
Or
2
just
weapons.
move in front of the thing that they were going
gross.
to charge instead of getting your whatever charge, your Wave Serpent charge. Now you're charging Scorpions.
Well, I'd rather them charge the Wave Serpent, and then I get fights first, and then I kill your unit if I can.
It's crazy. It's
It is
mental,
bonkers.
insane, bonkers.
Anyway,
nuts.
that's one of the 3 army rules.
One of the 3. Well, and I was going to
That's the
say,
best.
Yeah, that is the best one.
because again, it shores up their primary, right? Because you can have something completely safe, and until they're done shooting, once they're done shooting, if they killed anything, which they're gonna have to do, we're not gonna not kill stuff here. You all of a sudden move something onto an objective, onto your expansion or something, and
Or the opponent's natural expansion.
or
You just deny the primary
your
completely.
opponent moves something up to the mid board to get like extend battle lines or something like that, and they shoot something, and at the end of the movement phase or end of the shooting phase, you just move on to it. I now have my primary for next turn, and I just denied you.
What's
extend
another
battle
neat
lines.
one too is like sometimes they're like, oh, I have recover assets or sabotage in round 1. Like it's kind of safe if I put it right here. Nope. Come out there, deny
Super
that
dead.
secondary, and now they can't even draw a new card.
Yep.
crazy.
Or if
Right
you're
now, you're
playing-
stopping that as well.
Yeah, or if you're playing another Eldar list or guard, somebody else that dared to take Eldar that wasn't Ynnari, you a squad of like, I don't know, it's like 6 Wind Riders. You shoot me, they're moving 16 inches and then 32 inches total, and now they're stood behind the furthest back terrain on the back of your deployment zone, and they can shoot your entire army
Nuts,
with
dude.
like
It's
6
insane.
shots a guy, like 36 shots.
Oh, crazy.
You're gonna have fun with that. So it's like it's a ton of flexibility.
They took Phantasma away and then gave it back way better. They're like, oh, we get Phantasm too strong. We gotta nerf this. We gotta get rid of it entirely. How about you guys just get the best one?
It doesn't cost CP.
It doesn't cost anything.
It could be not even a normal move. It could be like just 6 inches, and it would still be
It would
like
still be very good.
pretty darn good.
I was gonna say we didn't. I don't know if we want to get into that yet, but how are they going to nerf it when it inevitably gets nerfed? Nerfed? I can't even talk. Ynnari's too busted. I can't talk. I'm losing my mind. Probably just limiting the amount of movement permitted. Basically, it won't be a D6, but it'll be like 6
inches,
or something.
Yeah.
Or even maybe it can't benefit from the tokens in the turn that they do. a
Sure.
specific
That seems like an oversight. It probably shouldn't even just be a normal move. It should just be you move
Your move
10 or
characters
you
or
move your
whatever.
move characters, whatever, something like that. Yeah. Actually, that could solve a lot of problems if it's just not a normal move.
Yeah.
Right there. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is
Well, number 2. So one of the 4 token abilities is when you shoot me and you don't kill me, you don't even have to kill one of the models. If you shoot me and you don't kill me, I get to move D6 plus 1.
Yeah, move
now,
forward.
if you're the unit that shot me, so if only one unit can see my unit,
Right.
and you shoot it and you don't kill it, that D6 plus 1 can be used to get you into combat with me.
Jesus Murphy.
So,
It's a blood surge, but only if you
Yeah.
go to
but
that
it's a blood
target.
surge, but only
Yeah.
if you're going to combat with the unit that just shot you.
Right. Otherwise, it's just a move.
So late game, like
Yeah.
sticking a pretty decent melee squad like on the middle objective is kind of like, ooh.
I'll get some pepper shots in. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, don't do that at
Yeah,
all.
it's honestly, if you have less than 500 points of shooting, please do not shoot Ynnari, or
Right.
you're just going to get hyper dunked on
It's gonna
immediately.
It's going to be so hard to play around this detachment.
I think we'll
like-
get into some of the weaknesses after.
Sure,
but let's
sure.
keep going.
Yeah.
And
What's the third?
And then
Isn't
the
it just-
third rule is the second best. And
the
it's,
second one was second best.
And it's if anything has taken any wounds at the start of the fight phase, I can pick one of my models that's been damaged or one of my units that's been damaged, and I can give it fight first at the start of the fight phase. So the
Get outta
Incarn
here. I'm done with
heals.
this. Let's get him out of here. I'm done with Eldar.
The Incarn
Let's close it
heals
up. We're done.
up to D3 wounds. So
So
it's
dumb.
up to D3 wounds. So if you dare to shoot my Incarn and take her off of the 12 wounds that she was designed to have, every time she kills something, she heals up to D3. So because it's up to
Is
D3,
it every time she kills a model or a unit?
a unit.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time.
Model. Jesus
Yeah.
Murphy.
So she killed.
Calm down.
She kills a
Yeah.
unit of with lead, like with a bodyguard that's healed twice. That's 2d3.
That would?
Yeah, and she has a pretty good flamer. It's strength. It's like D6 plus 3, strength 7, AP 1 or 2, and then
So she could
D3 damage
shoot,
each.
kill a unit, heal D3, go into combat, kill a bodyguard and a hero.
Yeah.
So that's 3d3
Sure.
heal.
And then you
on
decide
your
to
turn.
move in your turn, and then she overwatches you.
Yeah.
And then that's
And
another
another
D3.
D3.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to heal her back up to 12 because it's up to D3. I'm going to heal her back up to 11, so she is perma-fights first for the whole
So
game.
dumb. So dumb. That's so dumb.
Sorry.
I just choose not to
So
heal.
dumb.
Yeah.
And then isn't there one like rider on the bottom of the detachment wheel that's like you have to bring the Incarn or your Vrain and they have to be your warlord or something like that?
I think you have
That's
to
the
have,
cost.
like-
For all
like-
these
like-
ridiculous
like,
rules, the
Ynnari.
cost is you have to bring a good character.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're both
you
good.
you can't have any of the like actual
Right. Sorry. There is some
like
other
the
limitation.
named Eldar characters,
Who
like the
cares? Who needs
generic Eldar characters.
Oh, that's why you don't take Fuegan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't take the other Phoenix Lords.
However, I think the general consensus.
Fuegan?
Fuegan.
Fuego.
Fuego.
We can spend the whole day going through the entire Eldar Codex.
No,
Sounds like a
That's-
spaghetti.
Yeah, I was about to say Karandras, but there is no
Fuego.
Karandras.
Oh, Karandras.
She's gone.
R.I.P. in peace.
She's in a picture in the
Is
Codex,
it a she?
actually.
I don't even know. Tozy, I don't know yet. I don't
Honestly,
know
it's
how old they are.
probably better not to assume.
I guess, yeah, Eldar, that's true, actually. That's a good
Don't
point.
cancel me.
Eldar are kind of
Yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place with gender,
Yeah.
so yeah, who knows at that point.
But I think the general consensus is in regular lists, aside from like Jane Czar, you're usually not even taking like one of the named characters anyway, because you'd rather just have like another squad of aspect
Right.
warriors.
Jane Czar is the Striking Scorpions girl.
No, she's
Dang
the she's the Howling Banshees.
How are scorpions
That's close
now?
enough.
Scorpions are 75 points, and they start in the middle, and they have crit on 5s, and they have sustained, and they have infiltrate and scout.
Are they good though?
So just a ton of like
Dave says no.
There's a lot of rules.
No,
a ton
it
of like
sounds like a
trash
lot.
They're
damage.
ridiculously good. I
Oh,
think
okay.
any codex would take that.
Right.
Anybody would take the
For like
75
80
point scout
points, yeah.
infiltrating unit
They-
with power
Yeah.
armor too.
Yeah,
Right.
They,
Yeah,
they,
of
they will
course.
pick
Yeah.
up
Crazy.
your scouting squads.
Like compare that
That
to
is
what's
their job.
like,
It just becomes a skirmish game with them. And then what they got? Sustain as well? Lethal?
Sustained
Sustain on
5s.
fives.
Great.
It's so
Wild.
good.
Yeah, great, awesome.
Oh,
That's your
what's their
trash
strength?
unit?
3, 4?
Yeah, probably. They're all there.
AP, probably
They
3.
got noodly arms. It's all
Probably
good.
better than you think it is.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, in
I bet
fairness,
you
yeah,
strength 4,
probably.
AP 2.
Yeah, why not? Just for
because,
fun. Just for fun.
Just because they have
I
sustained.
want to see the Exarchs maybe like strength 6.
Scorpions, unit composition, equipped with Scorpion
Insane.
Chainsword.
Let's see.
So each of them, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. So it's okay. But the Exarch can receive the Claw, which is 3 attacks, strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage.
So Power Fist.
Yeah.
And their abilities are if they made a charge move this turn, an unmodified hit roll of 5 up,
Right.
scores a critical hit, and then all of their stuff is sustained,
Right.
and their stealth as well as infiltrate, and they scout 7.
They have scout and infiltrate.
Oh, and a 5 up in
What is
Yeah,
and
they're
a 3 up
good.
armor.
This is
How
so
many
dumb.
rules do they have?
It's so
they have every
dumb.
keyword.
Six-
They're missing some keywords.
There's
I
so
think.
many
6 wounds
deployments
total.
where you just put them 9 inches away.
Yeah.
And if you go second, they're perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, and,
Totally.
and you
And
bet,
if you
and
go
you,
first, then you're just touching whatever you
and,
want.
and you better not shoot them to death, or
Yeah.
else
Because the other stuff moves.
or else you're gonna catch 2 full squads.
Of Banshees
Yeah.
on fight first.
You shot me, man. That's not very cool. I'm
Crazy.
just gonna-
Well, I'm
Crazy,
gonna stop
crazy,
you from
crazy.
shooting. Yeah. Well, hey, I have these fusion pistols coming at you right now.
Crazy.
Yeah, you shot me. All right.
Don't shoot them. Honestly,
so-
the best way to deal with them is just to punch them in the face.
For Eldar in general, or Ynnari, or
Ynnari.
what? How do we deal with Ynnari? Tell us how to beat it.
First of all, pre-order Emperor's Children probably, and I'm not even kidding. Because,
Aside from buy a whole extra army.
but because world leaders don't have guns, and if you're fast and you can just get into them, they can use a lot of their army rule if they're like sticking you in melee. So I wouldn't say that they auto lose to melee because a lot of stuff is fights first, and then they have the Incarn popping up right beside you when you kill something in melee,
Right.
and they still have all the aspect warriors that are like good data
Yeah,
sheets.
of course, yeah.
But it feels fair in melee. If you're fighting them with just shooting, it feels not like a fair game from both games I've played so far.
Right, okay.
And if you're fighting them with shooting and melee, like you dare to have 2 things
like
in your army,
combined.
shooting and melee, it feels
All my
absolutely
armies,
awful.
Your armies.
Like normal armies.
It feels
Yeah.
absolutely awful because all of your shooting will absolutely make your melee miserable.
Right.
Because I can move away from you, I can move towards
You're
you. I
like
can
fighting
move-
against
yeah.
yourself almost,
Yeah.
like with your shooting
Yep.
versus your melee. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So it is. You're just bum rush is your best.
Unless
fucking
you're
way.
killing 3+ units in a turn, do not kill a unit, especially in shooting.
What about So a good example from Dave would be like Grey Knights. Grey Knights have those super, super high mobility, uppy, downy type stuff. Hypercrypt Necrons. Are they like they're shooty, but they're like a different kind of shooty? Is that it's going to be hard to movement shenanigans your way out of that, right?
Eldar gets picked up in general,
Right.
but when I sent my army list to the chat, you can see the amount of like units that I have, and some of them are like trash. Like I have 2 squads of Corsairs. I have 2 like Wraith Lords, which Wraith Lords are really good now.
Yeah.
Which are also like which I can use to screen, and like even if it's a 6-inch deep strike, there's still a 12-inch bubble. I have like a lone Farsi or like Skyrunner generating another like 12-inch bubble, like not a full like obviously like infiltrate like 24-inch.
Right.
But it's easy to limit in the first couple turns. It gets harder skirmishing like later in the turns. But for Grey Knights, if he shoots something, then I can pick up his indirect squad if he doesn't screen out the Wave Serpent landing, because I could literally just put like big stuff into him.
Yeah,
but then unfortunately, a lot of my anti-tanks super cheap, so he's not going to want to give me his Dread Knights that close anyway, because they'll just get picked up, and unless they're splitting fire, which they could, if they split fire, they're getting their points back.
Right.
So, but on that point though, too, indirect seems to
can
come
run it.
up
It's
a
okay.
lot,
I know
like
you wanna
Devastator
run it.
squads.
I want to run it.
I see you sitting there quietly. It's okay. No, it's okay.
So
it's
is
okay.
indirect another way of taking them
Right.
out?
Oh yeah,
Right.
bring Chaos Knights. Bring Chaos Knights.
Dude, yeah,
And
with
then-
like fucking
and then
12
you'll
Havoc
be
launchers
laughing.
or whatever.
You'll be
Yeah, but
laughing.
what's your target priority if you're a Chaos Knight player?
Ooh, that's a good
Definitely
question.
not the junk in the middle.
Right.
You're Fire Dragons, dude. Kill
If they're available,
kill
yeah,
the
of course.
limited stuff. Dude, it's like
Well, a lot of people are going to be running with Wave Serpents, right? So you're not getting to them.
So you
with
got to
your
kill that
Havoc
Wave
launcher,
Serpent,
but-
then kill the
Yeah.
Fire Dragon.
yeah,
after.
but yeah.
sure.
I guess in that matchup you wouldn't be putting the Banshees in the Wave Serpent
God,
because you're
no.
going to want to preserve the Fire Dragons.
100%.
So the better question is, what are you shooting at first that's on the board?
Yeah, correct.
It's probably going to be the spiders, hey?
Yeah,
The,
just 'cause
the
they're super
spiders have
annoying.
the largest mobility,
Yeah.
but with War Dogs you're OC8, so I can't even take
Yeah,
away
that's true. You
take
kinda
away
don't
your
worry about
OC.
too much.
To
And
be
spiders
honest,
aren't killing dogs, really.
If you pick up my Eldar Corsairs right off the bat, like those are the only things that are OC2 each. They can out OC you if I move on to your objective,
Right.
but you're just going to charge me anyway. So Chaos Knights is actually a pretty bad matchup.
Sure. Do Warp Spiders still have Dev? Do they have Dev?
No, they
Just
do not.
amazing. What is it? Just D6 Flamer?
D6
Yeah, it's just
Flamer,
a
and it
There's
has,
5 of them.
and
When
it
did
has
they-
AP.
I thought they had Dev earlier, didn't they?
No,
Yeah, in the index
did.
they have
Oh,
div.
yeah, they
In
did,
the
yeah.
index they did. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And it would teleport.
Yeah, they
not
go
move.
super fast.
Yeah,
They're
They
like
would
weird little blitz
teleport,
thing
and you, I believe the max mortals they could take was 1.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
they can take,
Right.
up to 6.
If I roll,
they
if I roll,
actually
if
up
I
the
roll
damage
s-
they can take.
If I roll
You
6
roll-
ones, then my squad just
Oh, you just do an actual test.
disappears into the warp and then just never comes out again.
It'd be
Just
awesome
like-
if like, hey, don't do this. I'm going to move my War Spires, roll 6 ones. Okay.
Oh, that'd be
I
great.
mean,
Yeah.
it is
That'd be so
very
good.
reasonable to expect you roll 2 ones on 6 dice.
Sure, well,
Then you're
statistically
probably
supposed to
just
get one,
pulling
right?
the extra.
Yeah, there's
But
going to be a
there's a good chance you could, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of aspect warriors are one-time use anyway, so you're just probably going to pull the Exarch just to maintain the volume of shots.
Right.
Because anything that was tough enough, that warp spiders aren't really going to be competitive in.
So indirect will be a good answer for Eldar in general. Obviously,
Melee armies.
melee armies rush you down. I guess for those like the back to the high mobility teleporty armies, you think you probably have enough. The Eldar player probably has enough stuff to just screen them out effectively enough. So maybe
For-
not.
for the first
it would be a
couple
good
turns,
counter,
yes.
but they've got enough stuff.
For the first couple turns, yes, but then
Yeah.
it gets tricky.
Sure.
The best counter into the meta right now, on a little bit of a tangent, is going to be a Space Marines list with max infiltrators and a squad of desolators that can stand on the 3rd floor to get plunging fire.
If that's an
because the
option, yeah.
infiltrators will like literally protect you 100% from bridgehead.
Right. Right,
Which
true.
is super nice, especially if you're in Calgary right now.
Who else aside from Adam is running Bridgehead? Though?
Doesn't matter.
Just the fear of Adam has to
well,
dictate all of my
Jonah.
choices.
It's about 4 people.
Yeah.
Well,
Jonah likes his tank.
once-
Do you think Jonah's getting off tanks though?
Jonah does like his
Jonah
tanks.
loves his tanks,
But,
I don't know.
and they're gorgeous too. He wins being best painted all the time too. So.
Once
Yeah.
you get into
I
the
don't know.
conversation of like winning tournaments,
Yep.
it's less bringing like fully the best list and more bringing 1,700 points the best list and then 300 points of
Tech.
what are the other guys that I know that I could meet on day 2? What are they probably going to bring? And then trying to put that into your list.
Sure.
So good like infiltrators with like desolators that can stand on the 2nd floor, and then like a lot of other like marine good stuff. Like you're going to be picking up quite a lot of Eldar.
Yeah.
But terrain isn't standardized here, and regular
Yeah.
desolators without the extra AP just aren't worth their points.
Yeah, I don't think
210?
They're a lot.
200.
I don't think
Just
I've
200 straight?
seen a tournament in Alberta ever that would have the proper terrain to make that work.
Yeah.
We just don't do it here. We're
If
we're
you
cheap.
come to my house, I have the
come to your
UKTC
Not coming to your
terrain.
house.
Yeah, there you go. We can
I will
play a
not-
tournament
I
at
will
my
not be-
house
I will
on
not
one,
be joining.
one table
when I
at a
bring
time.
the Wayland Yutani, you can do that.
Oh yeah, actually that would do it.
Easy.
That would do it. But
Yeah.
the platforms are kind of small.
Yeah, but you
It
can
would-
just line them
it would
like
pro-
a.
it would probably work.
Easily. It's just
Yeah.
an L. You can just line.
It's designed
5
for that.
guys
Actually,
there.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
WTC terrain.
Okay. So we have an idea who the big boogeyman's going to be. It's going to be the Ynnari. We have some ideas. The short answer is a lot of armies are going to have a hard time, which is that's going to be the meta boogeyman. That's kind of how it works, right? You're not the meta boogeyman.
But I mean,
being
and that's out to your bigger tournaments. So we can easily talk about the Calgary meta as well.
Well, the Calgary meta is, if I had to summarize it, we like our monsters, we like our big vehicles, we like our
World leaders.
we like our world leaders, we like our melee armies. We're not usually the most finesse oriented, except for Dave, obviously. He's a finesse boy. No, actually, you did really good with knights this weekend. That was dope.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
ran 3 big knights, so you know.
Oh yeah, if you're on Imperial Knights, you're meta chasing now.
We will get into that. I do
You're
want
one
to
of
touch
those
on that.
guys.
We're gonna
I brought a Valiant.
We'll finish with the Eldar first.
I would like to say that I do think that Ynnari is going to be somewhat called because of Emperor's Children. So Emperor's Children move further more consistently than World Leaders based upon the data sheets that I've seen so far.
Right.
And a lot of they're going to want to punch you in the face, the same as World Leaders would. But a lot of their stuff has sticky and also has infiltrate,
Right.
which is really going to be a huge answer for like regular stand-up Eldar, because they're going to have to interact with you because their basic troops have like sticky, infiltrate, some of them have scout. And then it's like a solid melee army that doesn't even want to compete with you in like the firing lanes.
I'd like to see what their defensive profiles are like, because if they're just Space Marines, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, because at the end of the day, the Emperor's Children rule is if you advance, only one unit can charge a specific unit. So you can't have 2 units charging one Eldar unit. So if you're
Interesting.
moving...
I haven't even seen that stuff yet. Okay, that's cool.
I only saw the 2 detachments.
That's the army
That's
rule.
the generic army rule.
That's the army rule.
But for
They
the
released
most,
that today too.
Yeah. It was
Oh, I
like
didn't
today.
see that. Yeah, I didn't see. I only saw the detachments. I didn't see the.
for the
army.
most part, what are you going to need 2 units into though in Eldar?
Yeah.
Apart from Knight construct builds, which aren't as competitive.
Yeah, it's going to come down to movement, and because Eldar pick up Space Marines. Like, just
Yeah,
their
for
profiles are really nice into Space
they are.
Marines. It's low strength, high AP, usually damage 2 on a lot of stuff.
But if they
Space
go more
Marines
elite,
don't
though,
have-
you're hitting it on a 3-wound model. You're not going to get much.
Yeah, but I mean, even a Fire Dragon will pick up,
But
5
Fire
big
Dragons
Yeah.
aren't re-rolling.
regardless,
And then it
well,
becomes-
everything Eldar just picks up pretty much whatever
Marines.
whatever Space Marines.
I would like to disclose that we have absolutely, apart from the
We do not
releases
know.
that we've seen, we have not seen the Codex so far.
We don't have the inside
But
scoop.
that is my speculation, and I think because World Leaders is already an answer for Ynnari, I think that Emperor's Children, one of the detachments, is going to be a good answer for Ynnari.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. Very fair.
The likelihood.
It's all.
So
it's
out of
very
the 2,
speculative. Very
we can-
speculative.
why don't we
obviously.
talk about the 2 detachments that came out today too? Because there's 2.
Oh, you want to talk about Emperor's Children?
Yeah.
Right now in the middle of our Eldar podcast.
Yeah. Hey, it came up today.
Screw it. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, you want to play EC?
The top, well, I'd love to have the option.
Yeah. I love EC. I love all chaos.
Everybody's like 40% of people I talk to at tournaments, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get Emperor's Children. They're like, dude, me too. And I'm like, every time somebody says that, I'm like, because I told you at the beginning, I want to play like my own armies.
Yeah.
I would too, but you're playing it, so
We all just show up with EC.
Yeah, we should.
Anthony's playing it. Yeah.
Watch them be dog. I'm excited for them to launch it and it just be bad. Like
It won't be.
They try to do too
No.
much and it all just doesn't kind
They
of
want
work
to sell.
properly.
They want to sell models.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
James
Sure.
wants to
exactly.
Yeah. Well, what happened to the Custodes Codex then?
Everyone was making
They
fun
just
of Fulgrim's
friggin'
face.
dogged
They're
it.
gonna try to sell it. They're gonna make it good.
Yeah, they did make fun of his face. That's true.
The one detachment they've shown us that's pretty good is not the one that buffs the characters. It's the other one. So basically, it's a gambit. So you basically say,
Yeah, this is
okay,
kinda cool, actually.
I'm
This
going
is
to
cool.
kill this many
favored
units a
unit.
turn.
Oh no, the other one. Yeah,
I'm gonna kill.
Call your shots.
I'm gonna kill this many units a turn.
Yeah.
And you cannot get. So you get like 1 point per unit that you kill, but you can only score up to the amount that you declared at the beginning. And if you don't reach, so you can't go over it. and if you don't reach that amount, then you don't get anything. Your warlord takes mortal wounds.
Yeah, yeah.
But
very cool.
but if
Warlord unit.
yeah,
So they could be attached
it
to
would
the
be
unit.
Fulgrim most likely.
Well, I was gonna say
Yeah,
Fulgrim
yeah,
has to
yeah.
be, yeah.
depending
If
on
Fulgrim's in it.
depending on how meta the Fulgrim
Watch
builds are.
you watch people playing Emperor's Shield with no Fulgrim. That'll be just that day.
That army roll makes me scared because if they get all of that in their army roll, what are they getting on their data sheets?
Well,
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
tell you. I'm going to tell you this,
Right.
Dave. So the
Oh.
so
Let's sit up
tell
in
you.
our
so
seats.
so I have a pretty good source in a chat.
Oh.
So
that Reddit post?
I've no. It's in like a private like.
Is he a prince of
it's-
Nigeria?
it's in a private Discord.
Got it.
And I have to send pictures in exchange. No.
I believe it.
I'm
I
just
believe
kidding.
it. I have the pictures. They're great.
And basically, they said that in that specific detachment, the quote stratagems are what makes it 200% better.
Really?
And there's a way to manipulate like the numbers within it. A lot of the
I could see that.
like so flawless blades is like the new 8-bound equivalent, and they are going to have 3 attacks, weapon skill 2. It's only going to be 2 damage, but they're going to be anti everything 3 up.
Excuse me?
Anti everything 3 up. And if you're in that detachment, you're re-rolling hit rolls of 1.
Yeah.
And you're re-rolling wound rolls of 1 after
After
hit,
3
hit,
kills,
hit
right?
rolls of
Something like
1 after you get 1 of the points.
Yeah.
Wound rolls of 1 after 3 of the points.
Yeah.
I believe it's either after 4 or 5.
He's 5. You get
Lethal and sustained.
Lethal and sustained.
And then on 7, that happens on a 5 up. And
Oh, is
apparently
it 7? I only saw 1, 2, 3.
on a
It's a
7.
big 7.
What's
You
the
should-
7?
you should-
Oh, yeah, it
you
should be
should-
7.
you should-
though.
yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
ash.
Yeah, you
So
should
what does 7 do?
No.
I
Right.
can read them to you specifically, but 7 gives it crits on 5s
Right.
instead.
Got it.
3 attacks kind of sucks though.
But sustained and lethal and
Yeah.
on 5s.
Eventually.
And anti
So
everything.
you're just kind of holding them until you can get that.
However, if they don't kill what they're going into, then one of their models dies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And really cool looking models, can I just say? That of the I think the Emperor's Children like line got a pretty mixed reaction. What are these ones called again?
Flawless blades.
Those
Cone
are
heads.
those no, are they the cone heads? No, they're the cooler looking cone heads.
No, they're the cone heads.
Are they cone heads?
they're all
I
cone
thought
heads.
the
They're like that one
isn't there
Jedi.
I guess nose.
Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Ki Undi Mundi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. They look very cool models. I like the cone heads. I'm cool with the cone heads. Those are
Apparently
neat.
Lucius is like everybody's like hyping about Fulgrim, but apparently Lucius is like ridiculous.
His stats.
Yeah.
And his
His
ability.
model-
Do
his
you think
model's
does he
sick,
come
too.
back? He has to have come
He
back.
has to come back. He has to have some kind of mechanic.
He didn't tell me what detachment it's in, but one of the detachments, Lucius can solo a knight.
Fuck off.
Sounds about right.
And it's like,
Don't do it.
So-
holy crap.
It's rude.
And
Hey,
this
lots of stuff can solo
and
at night, in
this
fairness, but
the one that we were just talking about is cool, but apparently there's a Dark Pact one, which is the clear cut best one for singles. And they said that the data sheets are cool and the army rules cool, but the individual detachments make the army like holy crap.
right.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Well, I just thought like with Lucius, this is kind of a fan theory, my fan theory rule that would be really cool. Say a unit kills him,
Yeah.
then every turn after that they have to take a battle shock test at -1, and if they fail, he kills one of the models and comes back as that.
Jesus.
No.
That would be so
Imagine,
weird.
imagine
But
playing
that-
Imperial
but that's
Knights.
exactly,
That's
that's exactly the rule, though, right?
My revenue
Because every
dies.
time somebody
Ridiculous.
kills him, and if they, in the lore, if they enjoyed killing him, they turn into him.
I think even if they don't enjoy
He-
it,
They take pride in it. It's the whole thing is they take pride
Oh,
in
is that
it.
the
Like
thing?
I
There's
took down the best swordsman in
Right,
the
right,
galaxy.
right.
There's a cool Warhammer Plus animation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like a Black Templar or something gets him, or Death
Yeah.
Watch guy or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
And then
yeah,
he
yeah.
starts like hearing his voice, and then
Yeah,
his
super cool.
the scars start come up on his face, and all of a sudden he is him.
It'll be cool to see what they do with the mechanic. They won't do that because that's insane. You're insane. But
It's only a battle shock chest.
or
can make that
lose
any day.
or lose. Anyway, it's crazy. But it was
Don't go fighting him.
don't
then.
kill Lucius
Just leave him.
ever. Yeah, there's your
Just
solution.
yeah, just screen him out.
It would,
Well, he actually has fights first. But if he joins the
Of course,
squad
why
of
not?
flawless blades, then he loses fights first.
flawless blades. I
Probably just gives him rerolls or
we're
something.
gonna have a lot of
instead.
fights first. By what I'm hearing, like it's gonna be Fulgrim fight first, Lucius fight first. Like
They're going to be the gatekeep melee army, and that's why
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
I'm cushioning
100%.
myself off of World Leaders now.
What about the-
so I don't have to quickly
You're weaning
wonder-
yourself
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
You're
Seriously.
like, I can't play World
Seriously,
Leaders for another year.
I absolutely hate playing an army in singles and going into a singles and looking at the list and saying, "Oh, please don't let me match up into this. Please."
So
don't.
that was Custodes for a large portion of 10th.
I wasn't playing.
Yeah. Well, so that's what it was. They were fight first everywhere constantly.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brutal because Trajan had it. They had a strat for it. It was crazy. So,
Yeah.
Emperor's Children hype is real. The one we did touch on it briefly, but while if we're off the Aeldari train for now, I think we touched a lot of stuff. Get in the comments if you want to hear. If you have more questions, resident Eldar Pro Mr. Fraser will be here more often, so feel
Or-
free to get more
He's
questions.
just going
in
to
there.
talk to you about Ynnari.
He'll just
Or-
talk about Ynnari,
That's
even
it,
if we
yeah.
don't ask him. He
Well,
doesn't care.
You're going to ask Harley Quinn? And he's like, but
Oh,
let me
yeah,
tell you
but
about
Ynnari.
Ynnari. Yeah.
I'll finally finish my Harlequin army. He'll be totally done.
If
with
we wanted
Harlequins.
a Ynnari or a Harlequin game that I can talk through at some point, I think that would be
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll have
Should
a battle
do a
report.
bat rep
We'll have
with,
a battle
Grey
report.
Knights.
not against Grey Knights. with
100%. we need a rematch. We need a rematch. Imperial Knights versus
He's not doing it.
Harlequins.
Once I build my Ynnari, you're gonna tell me to play Harlequins on stream, and I'm gonna be like,
No.
"Do I have to?"
If the people
Damn
demand
it.
it, it must happen.
Yeah,
But
Maybe we can do an EC versus Ynnari.
there you go. That'll
that would
happen
be
for sure.
That'd be fun.
I wanted to.
It's just Fraser versus Fraser.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Oh,
so
dude.
good.
just set up the cameras and let Fraser just do his thing.
I just
And
get
actually,
the
every
hell
time
out
he
of there.
switches, he puts on elf ears, and then he takes off the elf ears and puts on a cone head.
Yeah.
Whenever he's switching
I
sides.
just draw scars on my
Yeah.
face, and then a magic eraser. When I'm switching to- yeah.
This is just Fraser's fever dream of him just losing his mind. I like it. It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
Yeah, just the descent into madness.
It's a great idea.
My opponent was mean to me.
You know what? Mark,
You're stalling.
Mark was mean to me on the weekend. The
No,
tournament
he wasn't.
organizer.
Impossible. What do you do?
He nuked my army.
I
Like
got
3
nuked too. We all got
times.
nuked.
Yeah. So they sent to the top
you get nuked,
tables.
Dave?
Oh, yeah, I got nuked.
They sent to the top tables.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, you can do it on all our tables as long as you also do it to Fraser. And then Mark came over and told me that, and I'm like, I gotta stop talking shit in the group chat because I am just getting spanked.
So to bring some context, we did a
Yeah.
charity event over the weekend. It was a 4-round team event. A pay to win.
Oh,
if you
dude,
think
that's
no,
wild.
it's not
Yeah.
a pay to win.
Oh
but-
my!
The idea was it was a really cool concept. We could we had a whole bunch of units donated, and then before every round, everyone could bid on the units, and then it was a silent auction type. But then we blow the whistle, everyone stops.
Away you go.
Then whoever wins wins. Now you can do whatever you want with those models.
Yep.
If you want to throw them against Fraser's opponent, throw them against Fraser's opponent.
Happened every single game.
We had teams that were like across the whole complex saying like, nope, throw my unit to Fraser's opponent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Seriously?
And-
Like I think at one round, David's team went against Fraser's team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they sent it. They're like, okay, we're gonna be buying all this stuff at silent auction, and then they just sent it all to Fraser's team.
Yeah, and these were not
Fraser's
like
opponent.
these were not like insignificant units. There was like
Nope.
Catachan jungle fighters. There was like
You were-
Custodes wardens, and then there was
Knight
a
Castellan.
Knight Castellan, a Revenant Eldar Titan. Was it a Warhound
Warhound
Titan?
Titan?
Right?
Yeah.
Like these were huge 1,000-point plus models, like crazy stuff.
I'm pretty sure your team had so many models that you actually just gave it to a random other table. The
Oh, yeah.
Revenant Titan. Because you had the Revenant Titan, you just like, we don't need to play this.
Yeah.
I actually respected that.
So when Fraser mentioned the nuking, that was another like you could pay whatever it was $10 to go nuke a table or something like that, and a
You
bomb
spend like
came
$10
down.
to
and
get 10 CP.
this
it
was
happened at the worst.
This was in the middle of me and
possible
Fraser's game
time.
where Fraser was set. He had just finished his movement phase, set up like a cleanse action here and set up for shooting here. And then they just dropped a nuke and killed like the squad that was cleansing. And
So,
like,
so all of my boats are behind terrain,
Yeah, yeah.
and all of my Harlequins are outside of my
Hiding
boats
around
dealing
the
with
boats,
stuff.
yeah.
So at the end of the turn, they can get back in, and the nuke dropped on top of
Right
the
there.
boats and on the Harlequins looking out of them. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, crap.
mercifully, 2 of the 3 boats survived, so you had some play. The solitaire was managed to come back, but you did lose an actioner here and stuff like that. It was
I
pretty
was
wild.
the first table it happened to.
Right.
And when he told me the profile of what the bomb was,
You're
I was
like,
like,
it
that's
should be
not
damage 2.
good enough. It should be damage
Yeah.
D6. And then
Dude,
no,
D6
it went
would've
to
been sick.
damage 2. But
Which is better than
it
damage
worked out.
1.
It worked out.
D6 would have been.
And then I was like, Mark, I'll
primo.
give you like $10 if you do it
To
to,
do it to
Ben's
me.
side of the table. And then like one war dog died, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate this. I hate this game. I hate fun tournaments.
So fun
tournament.
charity tournament over the weekend. Really good turnout. Raised a lot of good money for charity as well. But I wanted to mention, because I think I can't remember who said it during the show already, but over the weekend we had the Cherokee Open. So one of the bigger FLG events for Warhammer. And we had in the top 3, 2 Imperial Knights players. We had Mr.
They played
Brian.
the finals.
Did Brian Jones play? I'm forgetting the other guy's name.
No, because one of them was 7-0-1, and Brian was 8-0.
Oh.
Right. I'm blanking on the other
I
guy's
think
name.
he played Orcs
But
in the finals.
Brian Jones took down number 1, and other Imperial Knights player took down number 2. And then it was
Crazy.
Tyranids, I think, 3rd place. But and people were asking me, because I'm something of a resident Knights player. They were asking me, how did this, like, what has changed in the meta? What's happened that this happened in Cherokee? And I'm like, I have absolutely no idea.
Elves, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
If you're gonna go for mid to top table bullies, probably elves.
You know,
you think there's so many elves and the Knights are such a good matchup that they all of a sudden just
I think it's just enough.
crushed
elves,
it?
Yeah.
right?
And I don't want to diminish the players' wins, but it's win path. If you were
Sure.
to rerun the entire tournament and just do different pairings, it's probably a different top.
Well,
eight.
Brian Jones is also.
Brian Jones is a beast, obviously, and I wish I could remember the name of the second guy. He's also very good. But and that's I would agree that Knights do need the proper win path, 100%.
But that's
when
every
that's
single
every
It's every
tournament.
army.
But when
Yeah.
it's number 1 and 2, then you're like, okay, hold on, there's something going on here probably. Like I think there was another Thursday night player in like the top 6 or something like that. Like it was very good for Knights.
And it's 8 rounds.
And it's 8 rounds, which weeds out like win path a little bit too, right? Like it has to. I don't know. It's crazy.
Kind of.
I don't know if
I mean, if the right ones are winning, then no. Like as it keeps going up.
right. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's kind of random, kind of not. There's some variance there.
Yeah,
This is how David copes.
the guy who came second was running the exact list I've been running in tournaments, so I feel a little bit vindicated in my selection. So that's good. It's a really good singles
Did
list.
you just copy it?
No,
from a
I didn't
Discord,
copy
or?
it from a nothing.
Who's
And
the-
so that was a guy that went undefeated at Cherokee with your exact list, and then you went like 2-2 at a fun
With a
teams
Revenant
event.
Titan on the other side of the table. Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, I sure did. I sure did. I'm very
Wind
excited.
path. This goes back to the wind
Yeah,
path.
the wind
Yeah,
path.
yeah.
My wind path was through a surprise Titan. Yeah, my oopsies, my bad. Sorry, I'm not that good. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's really cool. I think its Knights have been up and down throughout the meta in 10th. Going way back to the start when they were nuts with bad towering rules and all that crazy
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they got kind of nerfed in the
The
ground.
bondsman gave a bunch of rerolls.
We lost our bondsmans, and it was just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
got nerfed in the ground. Like
Yeah.
slowly, we've been creeping back, and then like with the proper allies, with the sisters, the immolator.
Yeah.
Both of those lists, 1 and 2, both had at least one immolator.
Strip
One
cover
had
is
2.
actually quite huge for you.
It's huge. It's massive,
right?
massive,
Yeah,
massive.
it's really good.
Points
So-
have gone down for Knights significantly over the past year too.
100%. Yeah, the last points decrease had both of the armigers go down by 10, which no matter what list you're running at a bare minimum 4.
Well, we actually had an undefeated Knights list, at the tournament.
We played 2 different armies.
Well,
It's the
that is
same
very true,
army,
actually.
but
It's very true.
3 big Knights
As a whole,
versus
yeah.
it's a different army.
It is
You
very
just
different.
harpooning people in the face.
Yeah.
He just loves spoon. Love that poon.
I do
He
love
loves
the
that. He
poon.
loves that
Loves his
poon.
own
He loves
poon.
that poon. Though I keep hearing people
Just 12
say,
damage flat. Kill a dog.
yeah, right.
Kill a
But-
dog.
Nice.
So there,
Yeah.
did you? What's the book? Kingmaker is like the Imperial Knights book. Have you read that or?
No.
You should read
David
it first of
can't
all.
read.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil anything.
How
But
many pictures
I
are in
listened
the
to it on
book?
Audible. It's okay. Audible's good too.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to read anymore.
Yeah.
Don't need to read
Yeah,
anymore. I don't
just
read anymore.
ears.
Jesus, who reads? But I won't spoil it for you. But there, a harpoon features at a point, and it's very, very good. So, but one thing people have been saying is the harpoon should definitely have a melee profile, which it for
Yes,
sure should have.
It definitely should.
That's so when we get
I think it
it.
should just be like a sweep, just like a.
I'd be fine if it was a strike. Honestly, I don't care. I want to just short range, just stab a
Just like
harpoon
this.
into someone's face. Yeah, just bam.
Yeah.
One shot.
bam.
Just
If we don't
14
get one,
damage into a guardsman.
Yeah, even if it was one attack,
done.
just
I don't
like-
care. Give me something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the weaknesses of the Dominus class is just and the shooty Cerastus or the shooty Questoris as well, that you just don't have melee profile. So very excited for Knights. It sucks that we got taken off of the roadmap. We just got deleted off the roadmap. We
Chaos
were
Knights are
on the
there.
roadmap, and that Chaos Knights are there, but
I
hopefully
think
we'll
it's
be.
gonna, they're focused on the year of chaos after this nonsense.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing because it's probably due to their supply chain. It means we're going to get some new armigers.
Ooh, that is way too rosy, silver lining type thinking for me, but
Fingers crossed. It makes sense.
it does make sense. But Games Workshop rarely makes sense.
All your
My good
armatures
man.
are like identical anyway, so it doesn't really.
Aren't they war dogs?
Yeah.
They just look the same.
Yeah.
They're not.
They have war dogs without spikes.
They're like the same stuff. I just look and I'm like, does that one have a sword or nah? And then that's like my criteria.
Sword or not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just call them all war dogs all the time.
Yeah, you got everybody does. It's
Yeah,
okay. It's okay.
It's just a war dog.
We're
You're
over
walking
it.
the dogs.
It's
No,
it's
an
heresy.
armiger.
It's heresy, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, it's a halberd. Wait.
Knights are dangerous because if they're they're hard. Every army's hard to play very well, but knights are like a stat check, and they're decently easy to play like moderately at mid tables.
Yeah.
So if their data sheets are too good, then they get like egregious.
Sure.
So I think they're actually probably in a really good spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
But more rules are cooler. Like I'm excited for you guys to get
more rules are
Codex.
cooler. More models will be cooler. More detachments will open it up a lot, so we can actually have more different styles of play, which would be nice. Because the Grotmus detachment was not good, even for a person who has.
What does it do?
No, it doesn't do anything. Even for a
You actually
person
get
who
no
already
rules.
has an AdMech
you
army
know?
and an Imperial Knights army, it's still not good.
It gives AdMech rerolls. Your AdMech allies
Oh, that's
rerolls.
stupid.
Yeah,
That's
and it makes it lets you heal on your knights.
Yeah,
So
you're-
it's
And
kind of
that's
like the Chaos Knight one with the Cultist
Yes.
mob, but you're doing with the AdMech.
Correct. You get to bring AdMech allies. The AdMech shoot and attack better. The Knights get to heal a very, very small amount. Literally one wound.
I think the
per
6
turn.
Feel of Pain is more healing
It's
than that.
way
it's way
better.
more.
Yeah. like
And you lose all your good strats.
You can take Tech Priest for like an 80-point tax to heal
get
an
a little bit
extra
more.
D3 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's not good healing. It's not good healing. You lose a bunch of good strats. No Squire's Duty. You technically get a 1-gun Overwatch, which is like okay
On one
sometimes.
model?
On one thing. Like one of their guns.
no.
They could have just given it actual Overwatch, and it would not even have been a good attachment. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
They're just like, nah, how about one gun?
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're doing good
I
now.
don't want-
Is there anything
I don't wanna play
else? Anything else you guys can think of that is exciting and new and fun that you want to touch on real quick?
I mean, there's the other Emperor's Children detachment that they.
We've talked about it. Emperor's Children enough.
No, that's a pretty cool
We'll
one.
do a whole episode.
That's
It rerolls. Your warlord starts.
I want to talk about it. I like him.
Your
They're
warlord
cool.
starts and he rerolls wounds.
Yeah, okay.
And then as soon as
He's
another
called the favored unit.
and then as soon as another character unit kills something, it then becomes the favored unit, and then it kills. So it's nice if you're playing with your warlord, and then your warlord's super buffed up, and then your warlord dies. As soon as your next character unit kills something, after that it's going to be rerolling like wounds the whole game. So it's just kind of like but it's all going to depend on like stratagems.
so
as
your
all
Fulgrim's basically
detachments do.
switching to Lucius, and then it goes back.
Yeah.
It's just gonna go back like this
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
until one of them's dead.
It's all like I don't have anything.
It's not the good
I don't have anything personally against
No.
Emperor's Children. We're just dealing
It's
with
just cool.
We're just dealing with a lot of leaks and like only little tiny pictures
Yeah.
of
Well-
what's happening. I would love to like get into it and dig into it when we actually have the full
Well,
picture.
2 weeks, we'll have the book.
And you know what?
Is that how quick it's coming out?
Yep.
And,
Well,
and
there
3
you
weeks
go.
after that, we're gonna have the Death Guard book.
Is this true?
Oh, we're gonna make
Is this
that.
wishful thinking or is this
It's
true?
EC, Death Guard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Death Guard are really not a bad spot right now, though.
they're
Oh,
great.
they're very
Wait,
good right now.
T Sons and World Eaters after that, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, sorry. EC, World Eaters first, then Death Guard.
Ah,
Sorry, you know I forgot about them for a
Touche.
minute. Yeah,
that-
World Eaters is before Death Guard, so I'll probably get the Death Guard Codex, or at least know about it, end of April.
Yeah.
Getting in May, maybe for the classic.
Yeah, I don't usually really care if new rules come out like for stuff like.
This is exciting.
Like I'll play like a new army and I'll be like it'll be like a new detachment. I'll be like okay whatever. But now that it feels like it's in like the late game, Games Workshop's kind of running out of ideas. So it's kind of
Oh,
like
you think
it's,
so
so,
already, eh?
it's kind of like funny to see what they come up with. It's kind of like your favorite show getting to like season 8, and
just
there's like
everything goes
wizards
crazy.
and like magic and
Right,
like
right.
weird stuff.
Are we? Yeah, I guess we're on
it's
the
like
back
that
half,
and
right?
like Games Workshop now. Like a lot of the grounds you see, and you're like the Chaos Knights. It holds up, it grabs a Traitor Guardsman and holds it up in front of a Meltagun for you, and it's just like some of the stuff that coming up. I mean, it's cool, but
cool,
like
man.
it's interesting to see like the new mechanics they're gonna do because it's already Games Workshop themselves has said that Emperor's Children is going to have a lot of like new mechanics, and
Really,
so
yeah.
so I'm interested
Yeah.
to see like what it is.
Yeah, hopefully they get an uppy downy detachment.
No.
Apparently it's uppy downy rhinos.
Yeah, I heard about that
Oh,
for
that's
EC.
right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
I've
Yeah,
heard
they're gonna
about
just
that.
they do it for everybody now.
Yeah,
So everybody
everybody
gets
gets
uppy
uppy
downy.
downy.
Get
Everybody gets
one
uppy
uppy
downy.
downy detachment. Everybody.
Yeah, everybody gets one.
Noise Marines can go in rhinos, and they only count as one spot in the rhino. And they're
Like
not
the
like
whole unit
have,
counts
like,
as one
elites.
spot?
No, like each model counts as one. Like they're not like elites like that we usually count as 2.
Oh, gotcha. Right. I
So
don't
it's
do-
like
I don't
kinda
deal
like
with
uppy
rhinos.
downy,
I don't know
like
how
Noise
rhinos
Marines, I
work.
guess.
Like the 12 8-bound in a rhino. Remember that?
The
I never did- it was
exalted ape.
Yeah.
Right?
You could do that.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Jeez.
there was a rule where on the rhino it said you can't take 8-bound,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it didn't say anything about exalted 8-bound, which are technically different
yeah,
things.
The Exalted 8-bound had the Exalted 8-bound
Yeah, it's a
keyword,
different
not
keyword.
the
not
8-bound
different
8
keyword.
pound
If
keyword.
anybody ever did that, they should not be your friend anymore.
There was people doing that. That's
in Calgary.
No,
No.
I don't
Okay,
think
thank
so.
God, okay.
But in the
Maybe
wider
Edmonton.
world. Maybe.
Ooh,
Shredmonton.
not
Good old Shredmonton.
Not gonna say anything. we love Trident. Trident's cool.
You love Trident. Good. They got a big
Pillars
tournament
of the
coming up.
community.
They're great
Trident
guys.
are dope
Pillars.
guys.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Cool. Sweet. I think that's good.
I think we can start wrapping it
we're
up.
in a good spot, guys.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you again, Fraser, David, for not being guests.
There we
Not
go.
guests at all. You guys are
now
permanent
podcast
installations.
hosts.
Your host. Welcome to the life.
We're not allowed to leave this
What is
room.
it? What does it feel like? You're not allowed to leave. What does it feel like?
What does it feel like?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hot in here. I'm a little sweaty.
It's a little warm.
It's only
That's
because you're
okay.
near David.
It's. I like the sound of my own voice, so it's nice.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
it's-
right.
it's nice.
I think they got that image. They got that picture.
It's nice. It's kind of my girlfriend being
Viewers
here.
put it in.
After I had the One World Leaders podcast, my girlfriend was like laying in bed, and I'm like in the shower, like listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was a good point. And she's like, are you seriously listening to yourself? And I'm like, with slippery hands, like reaching over to pause it. I'm like, no, I'm not.
He just falls out of the tub. Ah, I fell down.
Yeah.
Man,
I wish you could listen to yourself and stop.
I'll be like watching it on the TV at home, and she'll walk in. I'll be like trying to like pause it, and, like change it. Yeah.
Now she's screwed. She's gonna have so many more episodes of you there.
I know.
I watch our stuff all the time. It's good. It's a good
Actually,
watch.
when I put it on, I put on the Halloween one.
Yeah.
And my daughter kept going, Superman. She kept doing that because he was in a Homelander costume.
I was dressed as Homelander.
Not
A
Superman.
little bit too small of a costume, unfortunately.
Not Superman. No.
I am Superman. Anyway,
Yeah,
thank you
it was
guys for stepping up, being a part of the Bloodbath Tactics. We're very excited to take the next step in a new studio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Be more consistent, more better.
Yeah.
Generally.
I love bringing some attention to the Calgary community because
Hell yeah.
I think a lot of other Warhammer communities in Canada kind of get highlighted, especially with like Team Canada stuff, and like
Sure.
we kind of get overshadowed. But I think there's a lot of really good players here,
100%.
and I think that we're definitely one of the most competitive kind of metas in the country, if not in like debatably like North America. And if we're not, I want to get there.
Hot take alert. Hot take alert.
I want to get there, and I want to make
take alert.
I want to make the community better. So if there's anything I can do to like either provide information or give
Yep.
like a heads up on stuff, like
Love it.
I hate gotching people and bringing like a brand new thing to a tournament that nobody's seen. Like I want to give everybody all the information. So if somebody from I don't know where in BC sees that there's a Calgary team pulling up, they're like, oh, this isn't great.
Yeah. You want
Yep.
your opponent to know literally everything about your army and then smash them.
Yeah.
That's when you have the best games.
That's the best feeling.
That's the
Yeah,
best.
no,
That's the best
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, but it's all about our community, and
love it.
that's what I want to highlight.
It's an amazing community.
think it's
Like,
great.
look what we just did last weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
Like
here's
it's-
amazing.
and it was
I didn't have a
beautiful.
good time last weekend.
You did fine.
were
You did
laughing.
fine.
I had
You
an
did fine.
amazing time.
You did fine.
Yeah, David got his
Best
only
weekend
best
of my
general
life.
of the of this
Attaboy.
season.
Just the first of many, David.
It's,
Well, we got-
it's the first.
the first of many.
Actually, we got David. We got Fool's Errand coming up. You're the defending champ.
That's
I'm
right.
the king of fools right now.
He's he is
The
the fool.
32-person GT.
He's the number one fool.
I don't know how anybody like this
Now
guy
it's
win.
double.
Yeah.
Literally
yeah, it's
double.
gonna be huge.
There's
There's only
32 players
32 last year.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty
I
tiny.
was
It was
saying
pretty tiny.
I'm just kidding.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us once again on Bloodbath Tactics. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever we're looking
Lots of cameras.
at this one. It really, really does, especially now that we're trying to get back into it, make it more consistent. Obviously, feeding the algorithm with likes and comments and all that good stuff. It helps us. And we say it a million times, but we want to know what you guys want to see. What is the cool new hot list out there? What is the cool new faction? If you want to hear about it, we want to talk about it with a little bit of our own little style, crushing beers, talking about the local scene and stuff like that. That's what we love.
Yeah,
to
and
do.
I think we're going to do some styles too. One thing we wanted to talk about too is near the end of the month we kind of wanted to kind of capture what the Calgary meta was,
Yeah.
start some power rankings and stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll be sharing that information with you guys as well as we gather more data and as we get into tournament season here because we have a fuck ton of tournaments coming up.
Yeah, we're going hard. Season coming.
We're going hard this year, guys.
And quick reminder, if you guys haven't signed up for the 40K Warhammer 40K Calgary Championship Spring Edition, do so now. We are going to be launching that March 8th, I think, is the cutoff. And I think we roll dice on March 10th, so it's coming up pretty quick.
You
So
can help me practice Ynnari.
And also, you
Yes.
can play, you don't even have to paint them.
don't paint them. Just get them,
just get it
assemble
out.
them,
Your
and then away you
opponent
go.
will dislike you
Or-
even more than they already would for bringing
Or head down to
Ynnari.
Ogre's Den and buy your EC army and just glue it up.
Just
and play
glue
it.
it.
Glue
Get
it
it.
up.
Get it assembled.
Glue it up.
Mold
As
lines.
long
Who
as
cares?
proxies are within reason.
Well, yeah, we'll have to obviously within reason. You can't slap a teddy bear down and call it a
I
Knight
bought-
Castellan.
But what about a Castellan Jack in the Box?
Jack in the box. Yeah.
I bought a
A Pringles
box.
can as a knight.
I bought a box of Warwalkers to my table last
Yeah,
weekend,
you're
and
right.
because it was the tournament, he's like, "Is this like a proxy of like actual Warwalkers?"
remember you saying
I'm
that.
like, no. Yeah, you can't just bring the Emperor's Children army box and have an 800-point army just by slapping it on the table in the box.
wait for the league for that. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. You're good, Cass.
I'm good. Thanks, guys.
Like, comment, subscribe. Never forget to smash that notification bell. Kick it in the face so you never miss an episode of Bloodbath Tactics.